What's up guys, Readiness Rations here with you again, and in today's video we're taking a trip back in time with an all-time classic MRE menu, number 16, chicken with noodles, the US military meal ready-to-eat version of the American classic chicken noodle soup. Before we give this meal kit a taste test, don't forget to thumbs up the video if you like seeing this military ration review content here on YouTube. Subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any of my future videos, and drop me a comment letting me know what ration you would like to see me review next. Chicken with noodles is an all-time classic MRE menu. It debuted all the way back in 1997 at menu number 5. In 1999 it was moved to menu number 6. In 2011 it was menu number 18, and then in 2012 it finally settled into its spot at menu number 3, where it still remains to this day, meaning that this menu has been in service well in excess of 20 years at this point. That is a remarkable lifespan for a meal ready to eat. Given the fact that this example is menu number 16, means that we're dealing with an early 2000s MRE. This one was packed by Warneck. Let's crack into it here with our pillable seal. Our very first item is raspberry flavored applesauce with a production date of the 294th day of 2003. And since we're now in 2024, that makes this ration more than 20 years old. A 2-ounce fig bar coming in at 200 calories. Plain pack of cheese spread with horizontal text, 1.5 ounces, 170 calories. A standard MRE spoon. Accessory packet, which we'll take a more in-depth look at here in just a moment. A full-size package of original Skittles. That's 240 calories of pure sugar. Cocoa beverage powder, type 1 fortified, 190 calories. An item that I wish we saw more of. Vegetable crackers, 180 calories. Chemical flameless ration heater for a nice hot meal. And lastly, our main entree, chicken, vegetables, and noodles in sauce. 230 calories, 19 grams of protein, and a pretty ridiculously long ingredients list. 8-ounce main as usual. Let's get a look at this retort pouch. Sort of a gray-green color, and there does appear to be just a little bit of delamination going on, so perhaps it's not in the absolute best shape possible, but I still intend on trying it out. Let's get our entree in this flameless ration heater straight away. Slide our retort down alongside the heating pad. Before we add water to this, let's check out our accessory packet here. That has a very good looking miniature bottle of Tabasco. It hasn't dried up or evaporated, and it's even a pretty normal Tabasco color. 2-pack of spearmint gum, a green pack of matches with brown tips. Uh-oh. That is a red pack Taster's Choice. These are well known for encountering mold issues. You very rarely run across a Taster's Choice in the red pack that is still in good condition all these years later. 4 grams of creamer, non-dairy, 4 grams of salt, 4 grams of sugar, a moist towelette, and no MRE is complete without White House toilet paper. I waited to add water to our ration heater because I wanted to get my hands on this iodized salt first. Sometimes with these older ration heaters, adding in a little bit of salt to the mix can really aid in activation and help us obtain a much warmer end product. Add some water to that. I overfilled this one big time, but that is already making some noise, so maybe it'll turn out okay. Slide that back down into the box for the main, and I do think I will slip our cheese spread in there as well. I can already feel this putting off some heat. That's pretty surprising for a 20-year-old ration. With the inclusion of the fig bar, this really is a substantially sized meal. In the couple of minutes that's passed since we started the ration heater, it's already up to 97 degrees, and that was just on the front. On the back here, we're up to a scorching about 150. Let's see how our Taster's Choice is looking. That doesn't bode well. Oh yeah. Dried and furry. We can see those little flakes of white mold. Your coffee should not be fuzzy like that. So as usual, the red pack Taster's Choice has let us down. I don't feel like drinking moldy coffee this evening. Let's get this fig bar open. No double packing, just a double Fig Newton inside of the MRE packaging. Look how dark and shiny this is. That smells quite nice. Those bars have really darkened over time, especially this one. They have a very slick texture. I'm looking forward to trying those out. Now let's crack into our crackers. Those had a very strong vacuum. Corners are a little bit crumbly, but there's our 2 mostly intact vegetable crackers. You can see the little flakes of vegetable matter that's in them. Now let's see how these original Skittles have held up after 20 years. Those look as good as new. Not a single blemish as far as I can tell. Those look perfectly preserved and would probably last just fine for another 20 years. This raspberry flavored applesauce is an MRE item that I cannot recall ever having before, so I'm pretty excited to check this one out. This is a 4.5 ounce retort pouch. Tear into that. Well, it's super dark. Definitely smells of raspberry. Squish this out here. Oh, it's very runny. I'm making a big mess of it. Make sure I get every last drop. It is so much more runny than I thought it would be. I got some of that on my hands, so let's check out our moist towelette here. Still moist, wet, and visibly soapy. Virtually odorless, but it did a good job of cleaning my hands up. The dark brown nature of this applesauce is a little bit concerning. I think we'll save that one for last. Let's get our heated cheese out of our FRH. Ooh, this thing is scorching hot. 138-degree cheese. The cheese in MREs is one of the very first items to go south. They don't typically last 20 years, so this might be pretty gross. I can tell you right away, it smells very pungent. Oh man, look how dark that is. Do I even want to put this on my spoon? It's super hot, so it's uncomfortable to hold. It smells disgusting. And it looks absolutely disgusting. Look at this texture, it's gelatinous almost. This is supposed to be bright and orange, not putridly brown. The smell is oppressively sharp. That's definitely well past its best buy date, but let's see how she tastes. Oh, that texture. Like Jell-O. Oh, the flavor. Oh, wow. No. Oh my God. What have I done? This is the first time I've ever taken really old, disgusting cheese and put it in the FRH to heat it up. That was a awful decision. The combination of that disgusting, rotten, old stinky cheese flavor and a super unnatural, slippery, gelled-like consistency is a recipe for vomit induction, and that flavor is just lingering on my tongue. I must have something wrong with me because I am literally considering going in for round 2 here. Let's put a little bit on the cracker. Look at how it's breaking off. It's so jiggly and weird. This reminds me of that old horror movie, The Blob, because it looks just like something out of it. So springy and gelatinous and an awful color. I guess we gotta try it on the cracker. Down the hatch. Well, the cracker's pleasantly crunchy, and it really helps to cover up a lot of that disgusting cheese flavor. That's actually mildly edible combining these two together. So much so, I will try it one more time for you guys. I love how that just sort of broke off instead of squeeze out. I guess I learned my lesson not to heat up 20-year-old cheese. That crunch really helps mask that warm Jell-O consistency that it has. That flavor's still hard to get over though, so I think I'm done with this, at least for now. Time has finally come for our main entree. The top part of this retort is screaming hot. The bottom part is closer to room temperature. So we'll mix this around a little bit. Cut the top of this off. And there's our chicken and noodles. Thick and almost stringy. No acrid aromas though. Squeeze this out. Oh, it is just pooping right out. Chicken and noodles is traditionally one of my favorite menus. I've eaten it many times over the years, both military and commercial, and it has never let me down. This is the oldest MRE chicken and noodles I've ever had though. So I think the idea behind this is an American-style chicken noodle soup. Since we are dealing with a military ration that's supposed to be eaten out of a pouch, it can't really be soupy. So they make it more of this stew-like consistency. That is very oddly stringy. I don't know why it looks like that. Almost snotty. As far as what's inside of here goes, we have some green celery, a little bit of button mushroom, some carrot that is very soft and sort of breaking down in the pouch, some flakes of onion. We have our chicken, which is a canned chicken consistency, so it's a mix of both light and dark meat. It is very stringy and soft. You can see it sort of spreading, almost like a pate, just with the back of the spoon there. But it is real chicken, not some processed mystery meat. This sauce has me very concerned though. The way that it's pulling apart in strings like that is not consistent with what this menu is supposed to look like. That is so snotty and slimy. Smells okay though, so I guess we'll go in for a bite, get some chicken slime and some noodles. Man, that doesn't look very appetizing, but I'm trying it out all the same. 20-year-old chicken noodles. So it has a little bit of a metallic retort pouch taste. That slimy texture wasn't that noticeable in my mouth, but I did notice how extremely stringy the chicken was. These noodles just melt away to nothing. This also has a little bit of red bell pepper, which you can pick up on in flavor a tiny bit. This is a rather bland menu. I think the chicken and noodles from more modern MREs has an overall better taste than this. It's just lacking seasoning. It needs some black pepper or maybe some additional salt. Luckily, they did provide us with a nice bottle of Tabasco hot sauce, and this menu is basically screaming for it. I've always been a huge fan of these little Tabasco bottles. I suppose I'm going to dump all of it on here. Looks like we have a little bit of a clot going on at the end of the bottle here. I think the end of a match will clear our obstruction, and now we should be able to distribute our hot sauce. There's plenty in this bottle to cover the entire main. Give that a little mix around here. I just can't get over how hideously mucusy this mix looks. It basically looks like slop, but we'll try it here with our hot sauce. The little vinegar kick that has really helps pump the overall flavor profile up. The additional heat is welcome, but this menu is still missing something. Maybe we'll try it with a little bit of cracker here. Okay, that helps tie things together a little bit. I will say there is a decent amount of chicken in this. Once you add the hot sauce and the cracker, it is elevated a good bit. If the cheese was in perfect shape here, I would put cheese all over the main. And that extra salty sharpness, I think would really be a good complement to the main. For now though, I'm gonna take a little cheese squirt, cover that with a heaping spoonful, and we'll give that cheese one more shot with our main entree. Does it help? Not so sure. Does it hurt? No, not really. There's enough additional flavors going on where the cheese doesn't just punch you in the mouth, and it does pump up the flavor in what was otherwise a pretty bland main. In this Rations heyday 20 years ago, having it with the cheese would be the way to go. But in our current form, I think eating as little of this cheese as possible is probably the way to go. I've been drooling over these fig bars ever since we pulled them out of the pouch. They look awesome. So shiny and squished. Very soft and crumbly. Look at that dark, fermented fig inside. They still smell nice, like a really strong fig Newton. Time for a bite. Sweet. The bready cookie outside is very crumbly, but that dark fig inside is super rich and sweet. It has crunchy sugar crystals in it. That is a flavor you cannot get anywhere else. Shockingly good. It doesn't happen every time, but every now and then you run across one of these old school fig bars that have transformed over the years into a delectable treat. One of the best dessert / snack items you can run across in a US meal ready to eat. That is decadent and rich. The complexity of the flavor is hard to describe. It's like a fig Newton on steroids. Every aspect of this item is a near perfect experience. I gotta save one of these for my wife. Time for some Skittles. We'll get a green, purple, red, yellow, and an orange to cover the full spectrum. They look great. Let's toss them back. Maybe a little more crunchy than your average Skittle, but as I chew, they're softening up and releasing that very characteristic Skittle candy flavor. Aside from being slightly crunchy, these are identical to any original Skittles that you can pick up in any store. They have no indication of being 20 years old. I know you guys have probably noticed I have not opened up the cocoa beverage powder. This is an item that I've reviewed many times before here on the channel, and it is usually excellent. If you really want to get my take on it, I'll link a video for you right up here, which will include a full review of US military cocoa beverage powder. A special individual requested that the next time I run across one of these, that I hold it for him, and I told him I would, so sadly I will be skipping it this go around. We do still need to check out our raspberry flavored applesauce here though. The liquid is sort of separated from the solids. It is an extremely concerning shade of brown. Very runny for applesauce, and that's because it's supposed to be eaten out of a pouch. Get a big old spoonful here. Just looks like brown mystery mush. Raspberry flavored applesauce. Oh, yeah, I don't know about that one. It has a sharp raspberry flavor, but maybe a little bit too sharp for me. We'll get another taste of it here. Yeah, that might be slightly fermented. It's not really alcohol tasting, but sort of vinegary tasting. I think it's a bit more sour than it should be, although raspberries are naturally sour. I don't taste apple at all. Has a little bit of sweetness left, but it's mostly tart. I guess it's not something that'll kill me. Do I like it though? No, not really. Makes me wonder if this would have been any better when it was new. But as for how it tastes 20 years later, I wouldn't recommend it. Get one of our spearmint gum pieces here. I think they've lightened just a little bit in color. Hard and crunchy, but really nice spearmint flavor. Spearmint has always been my favorite MRE gum flavor. Once you get over that initial hard bite, you're left with very soft, tasty gum, and much fresher breath. And that was our Chicken with Noodles, meeting number 16 from the end of 2003. It's been 20 years, but it's still pretty edible, although far from 100%. This menu has had legs like few others, so I guess it's been popular among the troops, and I find it to be a completely adequate MRE meal. The main is nothing to write home about, but once you add the other components, it's pretty solid. If you guys enjoyed the video, don't forget to hit the thumbs up to help it out with the algorithm. Subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any of my future military ration reviews, both old and new, and drop me a comment letting me know what you thought about the menu and the review. Don't forget to share the video if you know someone else that might find it enjoyable, and I will catch you guys in the next one. See you then. Peace.